How cool is this? Old school technology with a flavor of modern technology, resulting in this. Beautiful and satisfying. Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder aboard a tank that was only briefly for sale, the Type 69-2A, a Chinese 8.0 rank 5 premium medium tank. And this tank surprised me quite a bit how fun it is for me personally. And let's get one thing out of the way really early on, because I'm going to praise this tank a little bit after I bashed it down. But in the bigger picture, the best premium in the Chinese tech tree, without a shadow of a doubt, is the WMA 301. It has everything. It has just really good speed if you put it into the right spot. It has heat, it has proximity HE, it has hash, it has a tandem heat warhead on an ATGM, and it has APFSDS, it has a scouting drone, laser rangefinder, thermal imaging, it can scout, it just can absolutely ruin the day of enemy tanks, and as a rank 6 premium, it can single-handedly research you the entirety of the Chinese tech tree, if you will. And to be honest, it is so much better than the T62 and the T69-2G that it shares the battle rating with, and even the much higher battle rating ZTZ96AP. So where does this leave the Type 69-2A? It leaves it in a honestly pretty unexpected sweet spot where old school technique and old school material combined with just the right amount of modern technology, where it can be really fun. It fits really nicely in a lineup with the WZ305, something that I'll have to take out soon to hunt some drones, the Tech Tree Type 69, the M11 3A1 TOW, and also the M41D at rank 6. And honestly, it can hold itself at 8.3 and still outclasses, in my opinion, the T62 number 545 and the T69 2G. And it then also fits perfectly into the lineup with those tanks, the PGZ09, the CM25. So this tank is not in a battle rating black hole or anything, it's just where it's nice. And also, two more things. I had a lot of luck with the maps that I gotten. Most of them were long range, which I really enjoy, and also no night battles. I just cannot highlight enough how much of a blessing this was, and so I really like playing this tank. Now, what has this tank going for it? Well, it's basically overall like a T54 1951 slash T55. You know, those tanks are really similar, a lot of modifications, yada yada yada. It has not the greatest gun handling. The ammunition is really great actually, and it has a laser rangefinder. It has no thermal imaging but a night vision device, which you're not going to need because you have no night battles, which is great. And that all is topped off quite literally by a heavy machine gun that I don't want to miss. Then it also has some smoke grenades, and you have enough armor to withstand SPA, and that's all that I'm going to ask for. It's not super fast. Now, here's the thing. This tank has many limitations, I'll talk about them in just a moment, but they are enough to drop the battle rating to 8.0. But it has enough performance to really shine if you're a player with patience, with game knowledge, with knowing locations, etc., to make this just a fun, not frustrating tank. And it rewards also players that go and switch through ammunition. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about the 100mm Type 69 2 cannon with 44 rounds of ammunition. The gun handling at first. 4 degrees of gun depression is outright terrible. However, I know the maps, I know where to go, so it hasn't hindered me that much, and I also was pretty lucky that in many situations where I had to go uphill, it just didn't really hinder or there was just no enemy that would shoot me. I just could go over the ridge and then engage an enemy that just happened to come around the corner. So this was also a little bit of luck. 18 degrees of gun elevation, that's okay-ish. Then let's talk about the reload, and that with 8.5 seconds is not really good. It's not stellar. It lags obviously very much behind some of the autoloaders, and it lags behind the 6.7 second reload that you'll find on most of the Western MBTs or medium tanks, especially with the L7 105mm or its derivatives. Then there is also the turret rotation speed, which is with 15 degrees per second at best not good. There are enough tanks with 20, 30, hell even 40 degrees of gun depression, so you have to pre-rotate the turret. You cannot really react quickly towards the enemy, especially in combination with the mobility and maneuverability of the tank. And 4.5 degrees per second of gun elevation speed or targeting vertical speed is also World War II-ish if you are in the realms outside of the stabilizer, and that is also not that great, but many tanks don't have really the very high gun elevation speeds. Then let's talk about the ammunition. You have heat, APDS and APHE, and that combination is really filthy. So let's start with the heat FS. It has 390mm of penetration. That's 10mm more than the 380mm on some Soviet tanks with the 100mm gun. 1000 meters per second muzzle velocity is really great, especially with the laser rangefinder. At range, you're just an absolute force to be reckoned with. But if there is something with ERA, the stabilizer and accuracy of the guns are good enough to hit the weak spot of enemy tanks at around 1.5 kilometers if they're standing still and you have a really calm hand. Then there is the APDS with just below 300mm of penetration and 1432 meters per second muzzle velocity. That doesn't give a damn about ERA, and it just has decent-ish post-penetration damage effect. The heat FS obviously has the advantage of some extra HE splash damage. Not really resulting in much overpressure, but you know what I'm going. Then we also have the Type 44 AP. And that AP CBC round is the exact same as the BR412D, again found on some late variants of the 100mm gun of the Soviets. 887 meters per second muzzle velocity, but 239mm of penetration power, so a bit better than the long 88 from the Germans, and just below 100 grams of TNT equivalent bursting charge. But it's this APHE that makes, for me, the difference, because if you get the side of a tank, you just blow it up. If you have a lightly protected tank, where then all of a sudden you struggle against to really knock them out because the APDS overpenetrates or the heat just doesn't pinpoint accurately hit the ammo, bam! The APHE blows it up. And it's just a satisfying shell. I really love it. Now, the combination of a laser rangefinder and a stabilizer together with the APHE gives it the extra flavor. But the tank again doesn't stop there, because if you just have a different playstyle or you trust heat or APDS more, you can also go with them. The tank is surprisingly versatile, and there is another thing that the WMA301, despite being equally or even better, misses, and that is, next to the APHE obviously, the heavy machine gun. Now, in this gameplay I didn't really show it all that much, but I have gotten many kills with it also in that aspect, and it just can save you in knocking out the gunner or something, or outright killing the enemy while not wasting a shell. The next enemy comes around the corner and you have the big boy gun ready for that. So that is absolutely fantastic. Have I mentioned how great APHE is? I love it. I absolutely love it. Also, this match here on Abandoned Factory just shows that this fits the tank very well. Why? Because there is mostly flat ground, the mobility isn't really hindered, and you just have no problem dealing with the enemies. So also where the buildings stand, for to be honest, this is a different style of city fight, if you will. It's more a factory fight. Yeah, abandoned factory. Yeah. But the way that the layout of the map is allows for both medium range and close quarters engagements, how you choose, how you like it, while still making positioning and situational awareness just in the right way a critical thing. And this is why I love this map. I also love this tank on this map. It's just so great. And to be honest, there is not that much more than I can say about the tank. I have never been in this location and survived for that long. Honestly, it's been a very long time since I've been in this location and having suppressed the enemy. And they just have no idea that I'm here. Beautiful. Just, this is the greatest reward ever, to slap helicopters out of the sky like this. It's fantastic, right? And I did it with an APHE shell. So, I think that let's compare this tank to a little bit of an old school thinking. The Leopard 1, being the first tank in the game with the L7, being equipped with heat and APDS and hash, used to be at 7.7, without a stabilizer and without a laser rangefinder, without the APHE, without armor, and to be honest, not that much better mobility or maneuverability than this. Just to put things into perspective where we stand. This tank has its limitations in turret rotation speed, gun elevation speed, reload speed, mobility, maneuverability, etc. But it doesn't really matter, because if you play it right, you can make the tank filthily awesome with the aid of the stabilizer, the right ammunition choice, the laser rangefinder, at range. It's just awesome. So I hope that you understand my point with this tank. Sure, you might think, oh well, it's actually not such a bad tank. But honestly, there are some tanks, and I'll let you figure out which ones they are, that also have the combination of laser rangefinder and AP. But then they lack other things. And in this tank you have a solid, proper medium tank. You have some armor, you have some okayish mobility, but it's really all about the gun, all about the other aspects that I just mentioned often enough that make this tank really work out. And that's what I like. You still have to put enough skill into it to make it work yourself. And that's it for me today. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like if it did, subscribe if you want to see more, and as usual, we will see each other on the waves, in the skies, and on the battlefields of War Thunder.